Everyone loves the end of the year.
We love the end of the year because there's so much to look forward to.
Summer. Christmas. And now school.
Happy holidays, everyone! Thank you, Linda. You can ring the bell! Oh, Rory!
But this year was different. There was summer, there was Christmas, and there was no school. Forever.
Well, no primary school forever.
Yeah, but
Which is different.
Yeah,
because there was actually plenty of school left.
Yeah, but I didn't think people would confuse this for 1849 and think that we finished the whole of school when we were 12.
What Atticus was trying to say is that
we were all going to high school.
Everyone was excited about going to high school. It was all anyone could talk about. Even when we were choosing our Kris Kringles, it was still all anyone could talk about. And our new school has an actual gymnasium.
Pick your Kris Kringle tomorrow.
Can you believe it, Melanie? We're going to have vaults and beams and bars.
I might be a bit scared to go in them.
But you can watch me for hours.
Buddy, use your own hand.
I have to make the most of dressing up a stretcher, Deborah Jo. What if they don't have dress-up days in high school?
When did that ever stop you in primary school?
I was really excited about going to high school because there are so many things to do. Cricket, football, school musical, school play, debating, choir, school newspaper. They have everything you could want.
Do they have a revolving restaurant?
No.
Because that's what I really want. Will you help me sign a petition to get one in our new school?
Atticus, Rory, can you stop talking about high school for 5 seconds and pick your Kris Kringles?
It was weird that Deborah Jo wasn't interested in high school. Normally, she's the most boring person on the planet because she never stops talking about school.
Just because I wanted people to focus on Kris Kringle didn't mean I wasn't super excited about high school. Because I was. I couldn't wait to leave primary school.
Deborah Jo?
Oh, hi, Mrs. Goncha.
What are you doing here? It's 4:30.
No, I'm just catching up on some homework.
Everyone knows in the last weeks of school, there is no homework.
There is no schoolwork.
All we do is make Christmas decorations and watch the same age-appropriate DVDs that we've watched a billion times. Because not everyone's parents approve of the really good DVDs that are just a little bit age-inappropriate.
Deborah Jo, I haven't sent you any homework.
Not this week, no. But some of my old assignments really needed some revision. Like this one you gave us on electricity at the start of the year. I really should have included comparative information on renewable energies. And this one about wetland birds. It's so basic, it's actually embarrassing. I don't know how you gave me an A+. And this one about Japan.
Deborah Jo had been staying late to do assignments that she had already done.
She was arriving early to do assignments that she had already done.
Morning, Mrs. Goncha.
She was working through lunch times to do assignments that she had already done.
Hi, Mrs. Goncha. Mr. Haliotis is helping me redo my solar system diorama, this time with metal rods.
It was pretty obvious that Deborah Jo didn't want to leave school.
To everyone except Deborah Jo.
Deborah Jo, I understand you don't want to leave school.
What? Of course I want to. What would make you say that? Just because I'm going over some old assignments?
Yes, and also because you pitched a tent in the corner of the classroom. What did I talk about all this morning?
Everyone knows what we talked about in class. We talked about... no idea. Next question.
We talked about going to high school. Mrs. Goncha had been telling us that it's very important for us to embrace change.
Mrs. Goncha, I am embracing change. I've changed every single one of my assignments.
Yes, that's not exactly the change I was talking about. You need to face up to the fact that you're leaving and start to be positive about graduating.
Maybe I was a tiny bit reluctant to leave.
Let's define tiny.
The primary school years have been the best years of my life.
They've been the only years of your life that you can really remember.
I've spent more time at school than I have at home.
Because you sometimes come here on Saturdays.
There was nothing Mrs. Goncha could say that would make me feel good about graduating.
How would you like to be in charge of the graduation committee?
Accept that.
Suddenly, all Deborah Jo wanted to talk about was graduation.
The graduation ceremony,
The graduation dinner,
the graduation decorations.
the graduation summer school.
We are not having a graduation summer school.
But it will be so much fun. We can revise everything we learned from the beginning of school up until now. From grade 3 up until now. The last 2 months of grade 6.
Deborah Jo is obviously really annoying, but I have to admit that the graduation preparations were the funnest thing ever.
You know I'm sitting right beside you.
Sorry, the most fun thing ever.
Thank you.
I was in charge of the menu for the graduation dinner. Spaghetti and meatballs times 60, garlic bread times 40, ice cream times 60. Well, that's my meal done. What's everyone else eating? Am I right, Batty?
I was in charge of making the photo montage to play at the graduation ceremony. I knew how to do it because I made one for my pop when he turned 70.
It was exactly the same, except this time they weren't old and crinkly.
I mean the photos, not my pop. Although he's old and crinkly too.
Tamara and I were in charge of the decorations, and Tamara didn't get carried away at all.
The children enter. Balloons cascade down from the ceiling. Streamers shoot out of cannons. And 100 doves are released.
Where are we going to get 100 doves? Don't you think they'll be squashed by the balloons or hit by the streamers flying out of cannons?
Melanie, the dream crusher, doesn't understand that I'm a big picture person. I don't have to be good on detail. Because Deborah Jo had an excellent idea for the detail.
Tamara, I love the idea of the doves.
Thank you.
What?
Not actual doves, of course.
Thank you.
What?
Doves symbolize Christmas, and I think we should be combining Christmas with graduation. Instead of a Christmas tree, we could have a graduation tree with all the stars we've made with our names on them. And instead of Christmas crackers, we could have graduation crackers with little messages we all write to each other.
It was a really great idea, and we couldn't wait to get started, only something kept getting in our way. And by something, I mean Rory.
What are you doing?
Helping. I wasn't helping. Oh, and also, have you got me for your Kris Kringle? I really needed to know who had me for Kris Kringle because that morning I had seen a Santa Claus whoopee cushion in the $2 shop, which I really wanted to put under Mrs. Goncha. I had to tell whoever had me for Kris Kringle to get it because last year some girl gave me soap. Who uses soap? That should go there and that should go there. And by the way, am I your Kris Kringle?
You just deleted my page.
Is that code for yes?
Rory was being super frustrating. So we'll need 5 bags of onions, 20 cans of tomatoes. Was it 20? Wait, where's my page of all the sums? Are you my Kris Kringle? Rory!
Are you?
You wrote all over my working out. That took me ages. Why would you do that?
Because I wanted to find out who's got me for Kris Kringle. Oh, okay, let me put it in a different way. Kris Kringle, Kris Kringle. Can't you hear those sleigh bells jingle? I love the present part. I want a cushion that farts.
Rory, stop. We don't want to hear one of your stupid raps. And by the way, Christmas isn't just about getting presents. Christmas is about giving and helping and being kind to each other. That's what everyone's trying to do here for graduation, and you're wrecking it. When Mrs. Goncha gets back, you're going to get in big trouble.
Rory, the principal wants to see you.
I knew Deborah Jo was in charge, but I didn't realise just how in charge. She knows people. Sorry, everyone.
You need to come with me, Rory.
Minkle.
At Little Lunch, I went to see Rory in the principal's office, but Rory wasn't in Rory's spot. He was sitting at the desk opposite the principal with Mrs. Goncha and his parents.
Rory had been called to the principal's office with his parents.
I just said that.
I feel like we could say that twice. It was very big news.
Fair enough.
If Rory's parents had been called, he was in big trouble.
Your parents only get called to the school if you've done something really bad or if you've had an accident. Like the time a boy called Steve spilled the radioactive liquid from his test tube in science class, and then he discovered that he had a super stretchy arm.
Seriously, you're going to turn this into a Stretcho story?
No, there really was a boy called Steve. No, there wasn't, sorry. But if that had happened, Steve's parents would have definitely been called to the school.
The bell went, and everybody went back to class except me. I couldn't go back. I had to stay and wait for Rory.
Until...
Atticus, get back to your classroom!
Until Mr. Haliotis, the PE teacher, told me to go back to the classroom. I was almost there when I heard Mrs. Goncha behind me.
Atticus, Rory has something to tell you. I'll leave you both alone for a moment.
Mrs. Goncha didn't look mad. She didn't look as if Rory had done something really bad.
I hadn't done something really bad. That was the problem. I hadn't done anything at all. I'm not graduating.
What?
I'm not graduating?
I heard you. Why? What do you mean? I don't understand.
I have to do grade 6 again. I didn't hand in my assignments, and I didn't sit for the tests, and I didn't do enough homework. And I don't know what these bunny ears mean, but they must be important because the principal kept using them.
You're not coming to high school with me?
Yeah, I am. I'll just be a year late. Atticus looks so sad that it suddenly made me so sad too. I don't know why I didn't do all the work I was supposed to. I was such a minklehead. Can we just keep it a secret for the moment? Can you not tell everybody else that I'm not graduating?
You're not graduating? Tamara, Deborah Joe, Rory's not graduating.
I just couldn't believe that Rory wasn't going to high school with me. We had spent every second of every day of primary school together. Except for the bits he was sitting in Rory's spot in the principal's office.
We were all really upset. Guys, can we please concentrate on the task at hand? We only have 7 days until graduation. We have so much to do.
I suddenly had the best idea. We have 7 days until graduation.
That's just what I said.
I mean, we have 7 days to help Rory do all his overdue work.
That's a lovely idea, Melanie, but there's no way Rory could do all the assignments and homework on this list in 7 days.
But what if he did?
Well, I suppose. Then you'll be able to graduate.
Guys, we can do this. We need to stop working on our graduation so we can all help Rory.
Everyone wanted to help Rory.
Except you.
Except me. I do not want to help Rory. It's his own fault that he didn't do any work.
Deborah Jo's right. It's my own fault. You guys shouldn't interrupt your graduation plans.
Yes, we should, because our graduation's supposed to be combined with Christmas, isn't it, Deborah Jo?
And Christmas is about giving.
And helping.
And being kind to each other.
Isn't it, Deborah Jo?
There's only one thing worse than having your own words thrown back in your face. When someone says something smarter and better on top of your own words.
You were scared to leave primary school. Imagine how scared Rory will be when we all leave primary school without him.
Guys, electricity, wetland birds, Japan. I don't even remember all those assignments.
Well, I know someone who remembers those assignments.
We could work here on Saturday and Sunday. Can we have a special camp out on the weekend?
Well, I know someone who is ready for a camp out.
We'll work the whole time, Mrs. Goncha. It'll be like summer school.
Well, I know someone who wanted to have a summer school.
Oh, fine. I'll help Rory graduate.
Mrs. Goncha said we weren't allowed to do the work for Rory. We could help him, but he had to write it himself and understand what he was writing, which was a challenge.
You need to start with a paragraph about who invented electricity.
Nobody invented it. It was just there.
No, it wasn't. Remember we talked about Benjamin Franklin?
Yes.
And what did he do?
Played football.
The lightning rod?
He played basketball. This is good. Give me another one.
It was a really big challenge. So, you need to choose a wetland bird to talk about. Ducks or cranes or herons. Then you need to find out where they live, what they eat, and how far they fly.
And how far they fly.
You're not listening to me, are you, Rory?
You're not listening to me, are you, Rory?
No matter how hard we tried, we could not get Rory to concentrate. So this is Tokyo, here's Osaka, this is Kyoto, which is actually very... I told Atticus it was useless. There was no way we could get Rory to do his assignments. He doesn't know to concentrate and he can't remember anything. I don't know how he remembers his stupid raps. They go on for hours and he never forgets a word.
I could have kissed Deborah Joe.
But that would have been disgusting.
So disgusting. The point is that we were both super excited to have found a way to help Rory.
Deborah Joe's idea was so good.
We all sat down and wrote all the information Rory needed for his assignments and tests into raps.
Which was easier for some people than others.
I've done 4.
I've done 3.
I've done 3.
I've done 4.
I just need a rhyme for electricity, and then I will have done 2. Words.
I'm not a rapper.
It was the best plan ever. We taught Rory all the raps
And suddenly he could remember everything.
he really could. All the detail he needed to do his assignments and tests.
Mrs. Gotcha couldn't believe it.
Benjamin Franklin was a very busy bee. He worked out that lightning was electricity. He waited for a storm and he said go fly a kite. He made sparks from a cloud and he turned on the light. One freckled duck went out one day, out of his freshwater swamp to play. Mother duck said, come back here, Michael. The freshwater swamp is your life cycle. 'Cause you're a wetland bird. Michael heard and said word. T to the O, to the K, to the Y, to the O, man. I love Japan. It's a bunch of islands called an archipelago. And scattered all over are big volcanoes, crowded cities and a dense population. Eating raw fish makes a brainy science nation.
We used raps for everything. Even maths.
You want to separate a fraction from a whole number. I can run but get a dot. Get a what? A decimal dot, you get my point? A decimal point. I don't know why everything was staying in my head now because of the rapping, but it was. My brain must be wired funny because if it doesn't rhyme, I have a big problem with it. What were we talking about?
We got closer and closer to graduation, and Rory got closer and closer to finishing all his assignments.
And all his homework.
And all his tests.
Rory had worked so hard.
Actually,
It was finally the morning of graduation, and Rory only had one test to go,
a maths test.
which normally Rory would be terrible at. But because of the raps, we weren't worried.
But we were worried about something else.
Are you sure no one's seen Rory? School started 25 minutes ago. If it doesn't start soon, we won't have enough time to do the maths test.
Doesn't matter, Mrs. Goncha. It's only one test. He's done everything else.
The principal's been adamant that Rory can only graduate if he completes every item on that list.
Rory! What kind of time do you call this?
Sorry.
I don't want to hear your excuses, young man.
Yes, thank you, Deborah Joe. We don't have any time for that. Rory needs to come over here and sit down and do your maths test. Children, you can all go to the hall and work on the decorations for the graduation. Off you go.
None of us could even think about making graduation decorations.
Not even me. I felt a bit bad that I had abandoned my graduation responsibilities and that we had hardly any decorations for the ceremony. But all I cared about right now was Rory passing that test.
Children, I thought I told you to go to the hall and decorate.
What happened, Mrs. Goncha? Did he pass?
I don't know. I have to mark the test with the principal. Now go on, all of you. Off you go.
I think we all felt a bit funny in the tummy as we walked into the hall because we weren't thinking about graduating. We were all thinking about Rory not graduating.
But that changed when we saw what had happened.
Whoa, I wonder how they did this. It's so cool. Who made all these decorations?
Maybe Mrs. Goncha did it.
I think Mrs. Goncha knows how to spell goodbye and luck.
Goodbye and good luck. Who made that?
There's only one person who could have misspelled that. Rory, did you decorate all this?
I didn't want you all to miss out on a proper graduation because you've been so busy helping me.
When did you do it?
I got my mum and dad to come help me last night. That's why I was late for the test, because I needed to finish it this morning.
Tamara, Deborah Joe, look!
Oh, you're so cute.
Look at you. You look so young.
But how did you do it all?
Mrs. Goncha sent an email to your parents for me, and they sent your photos to her.
Rory, this is beautiful. Really, when did you think of this? While we were studying? Because if you were able to think of two things at once, that is real progress.
It was no wonder Rory was asleep. He had never used his brain so much.
But we still didn't know whether a week and a half was enough.
Rory.
Did I pass?
You need a 50% to graduate. I think you might have done a bit better if you'd gotten a good night's sleep. But it doesn't matter because you got 53%.
I passed! I'm graduating!
I just want to say to you all that I have never taught a more lovely, kind, and generous group of children. And that includes you, Rory, for doing all this. I think I might just let him sleep for the afternoon now.
We suddenly realised what Rory had been carrying around in this folder all day.
Mrs. Goncha, there's one last bit of decorating to do. Which Rory wasn't able to finish before, but now he was graduating. So we could finish for him.
I slept for the whole of the afternoon until my mum woke me up because she had some good clothes for me to change into for graduation.
We all dressed up and the girls had special updos and everyone looked so good.
Let's go and graduate! Come on!
The whole night was a giant success.
The spaghetti and meatballs were a hit.
And all the speeches were really good. Although everyone found mine a lot funnier than I'd intended.
And now Deborah Jo would like to address her graduating class.
Atticus was my Kris Kringle, which was excellent because he knew what I wanted. But I realised I'd completely forgotten to give my Kris Kringle.
Finished.
Here you go, Tamara.
Deborah Jo! I have to give you a Kris Kringle.
Oh, Rory, I forgot all about
So
that.
did I, but it's the last day of school, and I wanted you to have that.
It's soap
Yeah.
that I gave you last year.
Oh, and also, I wanted you to have this.
I love Mario. Oh, I read that.